4-1 on aggregate, but there's not too many managers out there that can say they have defeated Pep Guardiola in Europe, so that is a bow that this manager can say that he has. Manchester City not only will be using this competition to try and claim a new trophy in that jam-packed trophy cabinet of theirs, but of course they'll be trying to use this competition as well to fire themselves back into form when they get back into domestic duties. They have lost ground in recent weeks to the likes of Liverpool and Arsenal and even Aston Villa, but it's all eyes on the FIFA Club World Cup this evening, and the game is underway. Delighted you can join us here on Flash Score for this unofficial audio commentary with me, your commentator Kieran Burke. Manchester City in their white strip, and the Reds are wearing exactly that colour in the red jersey with the white coloured shorts and black socks are Urawa Reds. Early touch here for the Manchester goalkeeper Ederson. Of course, City looking to join the roll of honour in this competition with fellow English clubs Chelsea, Liverpool, and of course their city rivals Manchester United. They've all tasted success in the FIFA Club World Cup. Can Manchester City join them in what is their first ever appearance in the competition? The teams that have made their debut in recent years have actually done quite well. A number of them have got to the final, but City looking to go all the way and win this. In 4 of the last 6 stagings of this competition, a team making their maiden appearance has gone on to reach the final, albeit all 4 of those teams finished as runners-up. City are favourites to go all the way in this competition, been staged in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. But it's Urawa on an early attack as the ball is played down the channel by Okubu, but he's put too much on that and it runs through to the goalkeeper Ederson. Okubu, he's played his entire career in his native Japan. He's had some loan spells away from the club, but he's been a first team regular since returning in recent seasons. And good pressure here from the Japanese side. They've turned the ball over high in the Manchester City half, and a chance for an early attack here for the Reds. And it is Okubu with the ball in, and that's an awkward clearance for Akanji to make, but he's done really well to clear that one away from the 6-yard box. It came at him awkwardly there, the Manchester City defender, but again it was Tomoaki Okubu causing some early problems there for Manchester City, who flew out to Saudi Arabia straight after that disappointing result against Crystal Palace on Saturday when they let that 2-0 advantage slip, becoming all too common for Manchester City in recent weeks, the concession of soft goals, and that's something they'll want to rid from their system during this FIFA Club World Cup so they can bring it back to domestic duties in a few weeks' time. They'll want to head back to England with that trophy in the kit bag. And it is Rodri now, the man who got the winner in the Champions League final last season. Of course, it's his goal that brought City to this stage. He's in possession now. He finds Kyle Walker. He gets it back from the captain. Dropping into the centre of the pitch now is Bernardo Silva, who will never forget his amazing semi-final performances against Real Madrid. His performances in those 2 games, I think everyone knew City's name was on the trophy when they absolutely dismantled the mighty Real Madrid last season. They're looking to pick apart Urawa Red Diamonds now, with Akanji in possession just inside his own half. He has to go square to Kyle Walker. Walker forced all the way back to Ederson, who certainly isn't racking up as many clean sheets this season as he'd like, the Brazilian. Only 4 Premier League clean sheets from 16 matches this season. During that run to Champions League and European success last season, he recorded 7 clean sheets in 11 appearances in the competition. He only conceded 4 goals en route to Manchester City lifting that famous trophy for the very first time as they defeated Inter Milan in the final. But it hasn't been plain sailing for Ederson and Manchester City so far this term. They've only kept 1 clean sheet across their last 11 Premier League games, and they've conceded at least once in 7 consecutive league games for the first time since January 2019, Manchester City. Pep Guardiola, he won't panic. His team usually hits their peak when required towards the business end of the season, so a little bit early in the campaign for silverware to be on the line, pre-Christmas of course. But Pep Guardiola knows what it takes to win this competition, having lifted the trophy in 2009 and 2011 as Barcelona boss, and then in 2013 with Bayern Munich. It's a lovely switch of play from Nathan Ake out to Phil Foden, who does look to be leading the line for Manchester City, although there'll be plenty of rotation up there without the likes of Julian Alvarez, who is on the bench, and of course the injured Erling Haaland. It'll be up to the advanced players like Foden, Grealish and Bernardo Silva to take turns in that number 9, that false 9 position, you would imagine. Dropping deep now is John Stones, receiving a quick free kick from Kai Walker. Walker just thinking about his next move. He decides to go back to Akanji. Akanji trying to pick a ball over the top, and a run from deep there from Kovacic. Unable to latch onto that one. 4-time Club World Cup winner Kovacic. It's an amazing career, and he could make it a fantastic 5 if Manchester City can overcome the Reds here and then go on to win against Fluminense, the Brazilian side, in Friday's final. But first they have to get past the boys from Japan. Manchester City starting to settle into some nice spells of possession now as John Stones steps up towards halfway. He plays square to Ake. Ake into the Urawa half with a pass to Grealish, but Grealish very quickly back to the ex-Chelsea man, and it's back with the goalkeeper Ederson now. He finds Rodri right on the D of his own penalty area. Rodri finds a forward pass, and Manchester City again just settling into a nice sustained spell of possession, just finding their feet in the opening 6.5 minutes here. Yet to see any real meaningful attack from either side. Jack Grealish now has given his man the skip, and Grealish carrying on, but Grealish met with a strong challenge. The ball breaks the way of Kovacic. Kovacic has Grealish on the overlap. He finds the Englishman. Grealish does well to keep that in play. Grealish does keep it alive, and he's backed up here now by Nathan Ake. Ake back to Grealish. Grealish to Bernardo Silva. Silva makes a run in advance of the ball. Looked like he had just gone offside the Portuguese man, so Grealish decides to keep it and recycle the possession inside, where it's now with Rodri. Rodri switches the play out to the right to Phil Foden. Kai Walker stepping into the Urawa half now. Rodri and Stones. City working some nice little triangles here on the edge of the opposition penalty area. Can they produce a chance though? There's Nunes. We haven't seen much of him since his move from Wolverhampton Wanderers. Big opportunity for him today in this Club World Cup semi-final. City working it from right to left and then back into the middle of the park again with Kovacic, who's seen a lot of early possession. Rodri takes a shot on from range. He got plenty on it, Rodri, but it does flash wide of the Urawa net. Trying to recreate his Champions League winner last season there, Rodri, a man for the big occasion. You only have to look at the stats when Rodri hasn't played for Manchester City this season. They have struggled without him. He's the player that registers the first attempt at goal in this game, but fails to hit the target there, Rodri. And there's a bit of a loose back pass, and that could produce a chance for Urawa. Ederson had to come dashing out from the edge of his 6-yard box there and apply a challenge. It looks like City have got away with one there. It was John Stones with the weak back pass, and trying to get onto that one was Jose Kante. Ederson did really well to get there before Kante. He lashes the ball against the shins of the Urawa striker, and it'll be out for a goal kick, but that is an early let off there for Manchester City. Kante, he was probably the best player on the pitch in Urawa's semi-final win against Club León. He got the assist for the winner in the game as well, Kante. Setting up that only goal of the game for the substitute Schalke, as they won by 1-0 against Club León. He's a 33-year-old striker, Jose Kante. Born in Spain, but he's been capped almost 30 times by Guinea. He scored 4 international goals. He has played all around the globe, not only with the Japanese club, but he's played in Spain, Cyprus, Poland, Kazakhstan and China as well. And he almost found himself with an opportunity there to open the scoring against the champions of Europe. And another ball switched out to the right now for Okubu. Okubu's quick, and he's done really well to keep that in play, but just loses his footing then, and the ball eventually does trickle behind. But certainly that looks like a promising outlet down that right hand side. Tomoaki Okubu, he's shown some early promise for Urawa, as again Kante gets up close and personal with Ederson. Almost caught the Manchester City goalkeeper napping there. They've made a positive start to this game, Urawa. They're certainly not sitting back and showing the star-studded team of Manchester City too much respect. They're going after them and pressing them every chance they get. City now looking to put their stamp on things with Grealish in midfield. He finds Rodri with a lovely floated pass out to the right hand side, where it's gathered by Nunes to Kyle Walker. Rodri finds Kovacic back to Aki. City with almost everyone in the Urawa half here now, including Akanji, who stepped over the halfway line to receive this pass. Akanji assessing his options. Almost every teammate is in front of the ball here. He finds Grealish out on the left flank. Grealish having a look at taking on Sakina. Sakina loses his footing. That allows Grealish to slip a pass inside to Rodri. Rodri with a light little pass out to Bernardo Silva, but Bernardo Silva is dispossessed, and the Reds are on the counter-attack now as the centre forward Kante drops deep. He goes back to one of his central defenders, and that's Alexander Schlotz, who is a real threat from the back. I'm sure Pep Guardiola and his coaching staff have done their homework on their opponents today, and they'll have realised that Alexander Schlotz, despite being a centre-back, is one of the big goal threats in this Reds team. He's got 11 goals from the back in all competitions this season, so they won't want to give away too many set pieces, because that will allow the Danish defender to come up and try and add to that very impressive tally. And speaking of impressive, it's Okubu again in possession. He's had a really lively start to the game. He moves the ball on as Urawa look to get their foot on the ball now and try and enjoy some time on the football. Manchester City have been trying to make the football exclusive to them, but the team from Japan now settling into a nice passage of play as the ball is switched out to the right for Sakina. Sakina tries to hit a ball up the channel, but too quick and too strong there for his man was Akanji. Ederson again closed down by Kante, but Ederson, cool as you like, finds Rodri. Rodri with a bit of a risky pass inside. Bernardo Silva had to be nippy and quick to get in there and keep that ball away from the Urawa attackers. John Stones, I'm sure he's still feeling a bit relieved after that sloppy back pass of a few minutes ago. Here he is now. He finds Bernardo Silva, who again takes up a central position. He's right on halfway here, Bernardo. Opens up his foot, finds a nice pass out to the left for Jack Grealish. Grealish again closed down by Sakina, so Grealish goes inside. Goes square to Kyle Walker. Walker looks left but then turns right. Eventually gives the pass to his left, just slightly left inside to Rodri. Nice first time pass from Bernardo Silva back to Kovacic. He's about 15 yards away from the edge of that Urawa penalty area. He has it again now, Kovacic. He finds Rodri. City starting to pull the strings here now. This is Bernardo Silva out on the left hand side. Silva dribbling back towards his own goal now. Finds a pass to Kyle Walker, and good pressing again from Urawa. They force Manchester City back towards halfway. Rodri's going to have to restart this attack from deep. He finds Kovacic. Kovacic with a nice ball out to the left here for Grealish. Grealish dribbles it into the penalty area. Nice offload to Bernardo Silva. He gets it back again, Grealish. Grealish takes on the shot, but it's blocked inside the penalty area. Rebound falls the way of Aki. Aki, there's a lot of traffic in front of him, and he ran into one man too many and he's dispossessed. But again, City win the ball back. They're starting to turn the screw now, up the pressure here, the English champions, as the ball is switched out towards Nunes. Difficult one to take down. He's done well. John Stones backing up the attack. Phil Foden getting involved now as well. Inside to Rodri. Kovacic, nice ball around the corner for Foden. Kovacic has it back now. Nunes, he has to go back to Walker. Walker plays a 1-2 and then goes inside to Nathan Aki. Aki again out to Grealish. Grealish seeing a lot of the ball out on this left hand side. Grealish taking on his man, but again forced back. He goes for a little back heel. He had Aki making an overlapping run, but it didn't pay off, and Kante has it now for Urawa, and he sent a lovely ball forward, and that was a good chance for Akimoto to latch onto that one. Actually, it was Yasui there that made the run. Yasui, but he had two Manchester City defenders just squeeze him out gradually there, and they managed to win it back. But that was a good piece of vision there from Jose Kante. See that ball over the top, it almost paid off for Urawa. Again, Grealish out on the left hand side, takes aim at the penalty area, gets into the 18-yard box, and he finds Bernardo Silva just leaning back as he hits it off the left foot, and it just loops over the top right hand corner of the Urawa goal, and it's out for a goal kick. But certainly Manchester City seem to think they have a reel in down that left hand side with Grealish. He's the man that most of these attacks are going through at the moment. Of course, Premier League football so big in Asia, there'll be lots of Japanese supporters tuning into this one to not only watch Urawa but to also get a glimpse at Manchester City. And Urawa, they actually travelled to Manchester back in August of 2004 for a pre-season competition at Manchester City's big rivals, Manchester United, at Old Trafford. And the Japanese club, they lost their first game in the competition against Boca Juniors by 5-2, but they were due to play Manchester United in the next match, only for the game to be called off due to an electrical storm. Some 800 Urawa fans had travelled from Japan, and they were left disappointed. But here they are today, Urawa up against the very best team in Europe, the champions of England, Manchester City, and how they would love to take the scalp, but they've got some defending to do again now. The Japanese side is Grealish, cuts into the penalty area onto his right foot, but he's closely marshalled there. Grealish has it again though, spreads it out to the right hand side. Kanji now stepping into the Urawa half to find Kovacic. Good footwork from Kovacic to keep tight control of the football. He moves it on now to Akanji once again. Akanji and Kovacic playing a little 1-2 between themselves. Rodri drops in to make a diamond, and Rodri gets the ball and plays it into the penalty area where Kyle Walker won the header, but Urawa win that second ball. Here's Kante. He's doing a really good job at holding it up there in isolation. He had 3 or 4 City players around him. He held them all off, and now he finds the pass outside to Okubu. Okubu back towards his own goal. It's held on by Schlotz, back to the goalkeeper Nishikawa. Nishikawa back to Alexander Scholz, the man often called up to the Danish international squad but never managed to get that elusive senior cap. His big moment could come in this game, yeah. The man with that very impressive goal record from the back, 11 goals this season, Alexander Scholz. City, of course, with goal threat all over the park. This is Rodri. We know what he can do from range. A real marksman from outside of that penalty area, Rodri. Seen him score some absolute crackers in recent seasons. Phil Foden. Such a classy player, Foden. If he's not scoring goals, he's usually setting them up. He's trying to set something up here now for Manchester City as he finds the pass outside to Nunes. To really show his best form at Manchester City, the ex-Wolves man. There's Nathan Ake again out to that left-hand side to Grealish. Grealish with a ball into the penalty area for Bernardo Silva. He got a toe on it as well. He tried to just swing his left foot at it and hit it first time on the volley, but he could only just get the edge of his boot onto it, and it was an easy save for Nishikawa. It was good vision there from Jack Grealish once again. Nishikawa this time delivers a long ball out of his hands and up the park, but that's an inaccurate ball out from the goalkeeper, the 37-year-old. Quite a few veterans in this Urawa team. Jose Kante, 33 years of age. Look at Uwayo, the holding midfielder, he's 35. Alexander Scholz, 31 years of age himself, so plenty of players in their 30s. Breaking forward now for Manchester City after winning the ball back is Nathan Ake. And that was a ball in behind for Phil Foden. A loose touch here might present a chance to Foden. Lovely footwork from Foden to hold off a couple of Urawa defenders. Here's Núñez now in a central position, and that's a really sloppy pass there from Matheus Núñez. This is a big opportunity for him to show Pep Guardiola what he can do, that maybe he can be a player to come in and help revive Manchester City's form in the Premier League, but he's not going to do it with passing like that. He was trying a simple 5-yard pass to the outside, he overhit it, and it goes behind for Urawa goal kick. Urawa taking their time now with this restart. Shusaku Nishikawa sending everyone up the pitch. He gets ready to deliver long. Looks like Kante is the intended target. Big presence up there for the Japanese side, but it's over his head. I'll tell you what, that's some distance for a goalkeeper to get on a goal kick. He's knocked that one all the way up the park and out of play behind the other end. Not really much good to the likes of Kante there. He was looking for a bit of service, but got to say that's an impressive range for a goalkeeper to have. Rodri closed down by Kante again. Not only is Kante offering them some good hold-up play with his back to goal, but he's pressing when he's out of possession as well. Manchester City's average ball recovery time in this opening 20 minutes, 16 seconds. It's taking the Japanese side over 50 seconds to win the ball back. Just goes to show you how good Manchester City are out of possession as well as on it. We all think of City and their silky passing, all the goals they score, but when they lose the ball, they very quickly win it back. Of course, Pep Guardiola always talked about that with his great Barcelona team. He used to put on sessions where I think it was 6 seconds was the target for the team out of possession to win the ball back, and he's brought that same ethos to Manchester City, and that's why they are where they are on this global stage. As they win a corner now, Matheus Núñez gets ready to take. He could go short to Phil Foden if he wants, but he puts it straight into the penalty area. It's easily headed away there by Sakina. Loose ball breaks the way of Kyle Walker. He feeds it out wide to Phil Foden. Foden's got Núñez in support. He uses Núñez. Bit of a sloppy return pass to Foden, but City still have it. It's back with Núñez again. Again Foden comes short and receives. Walker, Rodri, about 30 yards out, chips the ball from out under his feet, out to the left to Jack Grealish again. Grealish to Bernardo Silva. Silva again forced back towards Rodri. Nathan Ake got a nice pass there from Rodri, but nobody told Akanji that he could turn, and instead Manchester City have gone back about 5 or 10 yards now. The attack has just lost a little bit of impetus. Credit to Urawa, they're holding good shape at the moment, not making it easy for Manchester City to pick out those little gaps between the lines. Kovacic is going to try and open up the Japanese team now, but again he's forced square. Urawa will be happy to see that. As Kyle Walker receives. Walker out to the right hand side to Phil Foden. Foden on the edge of the penalty area now, crosses it from that position, but it took a deflection on the way through, and it's gathered by Shusaku Nishikawa, the goalkeeper. He gave an early call, he came out and gathered the ball, and again he goes for a direct kick out of his hands, but it's an inaccurate one, and Manchester City come forward again. When your backs are against the wall, you really want your goalkeeper to do a little bit better than that. Getting no real break from this City pressure here are Urawa. Núñez again finds Phil Foden. Foden to Kyle Walker. Foden has it again out on the right hand side. Kyle Walker allowed to pick his head up. Can he find a forward pass? Instead he has to go sideways to Rodri. Rodri using his strength to drive past a couple of players, but he had his head down as he played the pass, Rodri, and he's misplaced it. Walker can't get to it, and this could be a rare chance for Urawa to counter-attack, and that looks like it's going to be a yellow card. Indeed it is. It's Manuel Akanji, the player that goes into the referee's notebook. He's deliberately stopped a counter-attack there, the Manchester City defender. He pays the price with a yellow card, 24 minutes on the clock, as he commits the foul on Kito Yasui. He was breaking away there on the halfway line for Urawa. Yasui usually operates in behind Jose Kante in that number 10 role. He's played his entire career in Japan. And he's just caused the first booking of the game there as he used his pace to try and get away from the Manchester City midfield. And Akanji had to haul him down to the ground, so it's a yellow card for Akanji. Urawa go back to the goalkeeper with the free kick, so they're going to go from back to front here, it looks like. They do go towards halfway with a more direct ball, but it comes back towards the Urawa goals, where it's headed away by the 28-year-old Norwegian defender Marius Høybråten. And foul committed now just inside the Urawa half on a Manchester City player. So City have a free kick and they take it quickly, as we often see, and again they look to feed it immediately out to the left hand side to Jack Grealish. Grealish keeping it tight, and again forced inside to Kyle Walker. Urawa have done well not to allow Grealish down the byline and get crosses into the area. Foden trying to get a cross in now, but it's blocked. Kyle Walker will try his luck with a cross towards the back post. Too much on it, but Grealish should be able to keep this in play. And I'm surprised to say that he hasn't there, Jack Grealish. He's let that one go behind. And just behind that goal, the Urawa Red Diamonds supporters jumping up and down, enjoying themselves here out in Saudi Arabia. It's reported around 1,000 Manchester City fans have travelled from England to be here today. Obviously, Manchester City has huge support in this part of the world, given their owners' connections to the Gulf. But certainly, Urawa not without their support here today as well. As Nishikawa gets ready to take the free kick again, he goes long. He's looking to get plenty of purchase on those free kicks and goal kicks, but he's often over-egging them, I'm afraid. That one again runs straight out behind Ederson's goal for a Manchester City goal kick. As we head towards the half-hour mark, still awaiting our first real chance of this game, I would say. I think the biggest scare either team has had is when John Stones under-hit that back pass to Ederson and Jose Kante almost latched onto it, only for Ederson being alert and quick off the mark. He was able to get out and clear that ball away, and that's probably the closest we've come to any real goal-mouth drama as yet. Grealish certainly trying to create some, as again he receives the ball out on the left, but once more he's forced inside to Rodri. Rodri just sitting in that 6th role. He passes the ball forward to Nunes. Nunes out wide to Bernardo Silva, who's switched over to this right hand side now. Bernardo Silva finds a pass to Foden. Foden gets the shot away, but he's immediately closed down by 2 Urawa defenders. They're doing really well to get to that ball when they have to, the Reds' defence here. They might have more defending to do now as Foden tries to march through the middle of the Urawa team, but there was just too much traffic in front of him. The ball falls the way of Rodri, and that's his second long-range effort of the game, but once again it flashes wide of that left-hand upright. But Rodri just reminded everyone of his threat from that position of the pitch. Credit to Phil Foden. He tried to make something happen there. City haven't really been able to pass through the Urawa defensive lines as of yet, so Foden tried to just take a few players on with a direct dribble, and that resulted in the ball ricocheting back to Rodri. He took it down on his chest, hit it on the volley first time, just flashed wide. It must have got a touch on the way through. It's going to be a corner taken by Grealish, and the goalkeeper has to punch that one away. Grealish's corner almost went directly into the net. Bernardo Silva has it now just outside the penalty area on the right hand side. Silva dribbles into the penalty area and he cuts it back, and there's a shot again from Rodri, but once again Urawa have bodies where required to block that one away. Been some heroic blocks in the last few minutes from the Japanese side. More defending to do now as Bernardo Silva again gathers out on the right hand side, right on the edge of the penalty area, feeds the ball back to Rodri. Rodri rolls it with his left foot out to Walker. Walker with a low cross, that's headed away by Owayu. City have it again, not allowing the Japanese side any sort of respite here, Manchester City. They come after the opposition once more with Aki out to Grealish on the left hand touchline, making that area of the pitch his own in this first half. Jack Grealish inside to Nathan Aki. Aki forced back to Akanji. Akanji looking to pick Grealish out. It's a good pass out to Grealish, takes it down on his chest, traps it with his right foot, and now he goes on the move here, Jack Grealish. slowly but surely edging towards the penalty area. And there's a cross and a header from Núñez, but Núñez' body position, body shape was all wrong. His header goes out towards the corner flag, where credit to Bernardo Silva, he kept running and keeps it in play when it didn't look like it would stay in bounds. So City can launch another counter-attack now thanks to that work from Bernardo Silva. As Núñez feeds it inside to Kovacic. Kovacic just left it slightly behind him. Kante dispossessed, and eventually a hurry clearance from Marius Høybråten for Urawa. Everyone inside the Urawa half now, as the ball again switched out to Bernardo Silva. He's starting to have a bit of joy out on that right hand side. And there's a shot on goal and a brilliant save from Shusaku Nishikawa. He's denied Núñez. The ball broke the way of Núñez after Bernardo Silva was tackled. And from just inside the penalty area, Núñez takes on the shot straight at the goalkeeper. There was lots of power in it though. He had to push it over his crossbar and out behind for a Manchester City corner, which will be taken by Jack Grealish. Kovacic just comes short. The likes of Stones up from the back, as are Ake and Akanji. Stone standing just in front of the goalkeeper, as is Ake as well. I think the referee is just keeping an eye on things here. There's a lot of players crowded in front of the goalkeeper, so he's watching for any pushing and shoving. And now he's telling Jack Grealish that ball's not touching the trident, so he needs to move that ball back onto the line before he can take this corner. Grealish eventually given the okay to take it. This time he hasn't got enough purchase on it, Grealish, and it's easily headed away at the front post. His previous corner from that side almost resulted in a direct goal for Jack Grealish. So some work in the last few minutes for Shusaku Nishikawa to do in that Urawa net. Bernardo Silva into the penalty area where he finds Núñez. Núñez with a bit of a careless offload. Not the first time we've seen that from the ex-Wolves man. City do have it again though. Grealish on the left, controls it with his right foot. Back to Nathan Ake, he's backing up the play. Núñez coming over to Grealish's side now, and he finds Jack Grealish. Grealish inside to Núñez, and again that's a loose touch from Núñez. He gives possession away. Pep Guardiola won't be pleased with what he's seen from Núñez in the opening half hour. He is that little bit ring rusty. He hasn't played a lot of football lately, but certainly he has caused a lot of Manchester City attacks to break down so far. Star-studded Manchester City bench, of course, so there's any amount of options for Pep Guardiola to look to if he feels players aren't performing to where they should be in this game. Rodri just inside his own half now, finds Foden. Foden again happy to take players on. Lovely pass on the outside of the left foot out to his right, where Bernardo Silva has it now and is charging in on the penalty area. Bernardo Silva, lovely little change of direction to get a shot away, but it's blocked again. They've gone through some amount of defensive work already in only 33 minutes here, Urawa Reds. As Rodri loses his footing as he just plays a little ball over the top. John Stones made a run from deep trying to get his head on it, but once again good hands from Shusaku Nishikawa. This time Nishikawa throws the ball out, and that's much better. We've seen him overhit a few kickouts, but that's a really good pass to find Koizumi. Koizumi switches it out to the danger man Okubu. Okubu's got support coming, but he's dispossessed before the help of Sakina can come. Okubu wins it back though. Kante's just ran offside, so good decision there from Ito not to play that ball over the top. He just holds on to it, and this is the most possession we've seen Urawa have in the last little while, as Okubu runs into the tackle of Ake. Ake wins it for City. Akanji picks up the loose ball, and Manchester City can come again now through Rodri. It was nice while it lasted there for Urawa. Phil Foden, great dribbling again, looking for Jack Grealish. Grealish knocked off his feet, but referee says it was a fair coming together, and it's Atsuki Ito that has the ball now for Urawa Reds. In possession now inside his own penalty area here is Schultz. Urawa slowly building their way through the thirds, heading up towards halfway now with Ken Uwayo. And that's a good ball from the back there from Høybråten to find Koizumi. Koizumi back to the Danish defender again. Switches the ball out to the opposite side now. And finally they've met it into the Manchester City half with Okubu. Okubu, ball over the top towards Kante. Again, Ederson, excellent starting position, and he beats Kante to the ball. Not sure whether the offside flag would have gone up or not. Ederson wasn't hanging around to find out though. He gets out there and he plays the role of sweeper keeper excellently there, the Brazilian. And Manchester City have the ball once again as a result. Rodri. Kyle Walker. Walker checks back and finds Akanji. Akanji does well to find a ball into the centre of the park. Rodri has it now. Kovacic, first time ball to Foden. Lovely first touch from Foden. Opens up a couple of yards for him. He plays the ball out to the left to Jack Grealish. Grealish finally beats his man on the outside. First time we've seen Grealish do that, but his eventual cross is blocked behind by Alexander Schultz and out for a corner. First time we've seen Grealish go on the outside of Takehiro Sakina. He left them behind on that occasion, but Schultz was there to make the block as Grealish played the cross. Corner taken quickly by City. Rodri has it on the edge of the area. Rodri finds Kovacic out on the left hand side of the penalty box. He rolls it back, and a shot on goal, and a good save again from Shusaku Nishikawa. Long range effort from the edge of the penalty area from Phil Foden off the left foot. Keeper saw it coming a long way out, got his gloves behind it and turns it behind for yet another Manchester City corner. Grealish goes across again, takes the short one to Kovacic. Kovacic to Rodri on the edge of the area. Rodri out to Bernardo Silva on the right. Silva, ball over the top, straight into the hands of the Urawa goalkeeper, who's certainly getting through the miles in this first half. That's a much better ball forward from the keeper this time, but Kyle Walker, he's just too quick and he beats Okubu to the ball. Walker back to Ederson. Ederson quickly with a pass forward, and Manchester City come again. Grealish dropping a little bit deeper this time. Kovacic to Akanji. Akanji with the ball just over halfway line to Rodri. Rodri with a lovely pass out to the right hand side to Bernardo Silva. Silva has it now on the right, just on the edge of the penalty area. City going back again though. Here's Akanji. Was thinking about a shot, but there's way too many red jerseys in front of him. And that's really good play from Urawa Red Diamonds, because getting so many bodies there around Akanji just forced him into a decision he didn't want to make. He tried to play a hurried ball over the top, and he's knocked that one straight behind for a goal kick. As Erling Haaland watches on from the stands, of course not involved this evening, but he looks quite happy. He gives a wave to the cameras, and I think the locals enjoyed seeing the superstar Erling Haaland there. It's brought a big cheer from the supporters around the ground. They may see him on Friday if City get to the final, but at the moment Urawa Red Diamonds are in there and they're still swinging. 0-0 after 37 minutes, but they've lost the ball in a bad place here, the Japanese team. Foden with a pass to Nunes. Nunes cuts onto his left foot, but he's hit that one straight down the barrel, and it's easily saved by the goalkeeper once again. His stats are going to look quite impressive at the end of this half. Shusaku Nishikawa, he has been a very busy man. Kevin De Bruyne also watching on from the stands, edging ever closer to a return. De Bruyne. Pep Guardiola not ready to risk the likes of Erling Haaland, Doku and De Bruyne just yet. He'll be hoping that they're going to fight another day, that day being Friday, where the Brazilian side, Fluminense, are waiting in that Club World Cup final. They're also making their debut in the competition, so that stat I mentioned earlier of teams in recent years making their maiden appearance in this competition going on to the final, that's been further enhanced by the Brazilian side who won their semi-final yesterday. Manchester City, of course, this is their first ever appearance in the Club World Cup, having won the Champions League for the first time last season. They're hoping to book their place in the final as well. Can Grealish help them there? He has the ball again out on the left hand side. Pass inside, breaks back the way of Nathan Aki, and finds his central defensive partner Akanji, who's high up the pitch here for Manchester City, as he often has been in this first half. He hasn't had much defending to do. Everyone has to get involved for City here and helping create these attacks. Phil Foden, the latest player in possession now, as he finds Kyle Walker. John Stones out on the right wing, not usually where you'd see Stones. Rodri, a rare loose touch from him, that doesn't happen too often. He gives the ball away to Jose Cante, and Urawa can try and break here now. Manchester City very quickly get back into some sort of shell as soon as they lose that ball, so there's no easy counter-attacking route here for Urawa. They have to think about what they're doing as they try and play their way out from the back. And closed down there was Okubu, and he's knocked the ball straight out of play as a result, so that'll be a Manchester City throw. They didn't hold on to that for too long there, Urawa Reds. I mentioned Manchester City, that even their defenders have to come forward here and help create chances. All 10 of Manchester City's outfield players created at least one chance in the first half against Crystal Palace at the weekend. That's the first time on record that 10 different players have created a chance for one team in the first half of a Premier League game. So it looked absolutely unthinkable when they were 2-0 up that Manchester City wouldn't go on and win that game. But of course the concession of that late penalty allowed Olise to step up and make it 2-2. And Manchester City dropped more points at the weekend in the Premier League. As for Urawa, their domestic season recently coming to a conclusion. Early December was the final J-League match. Kovacic looks to get in behind, and that is a brilliant tackle on Kovacic. Last ditch defending again from Urawa defender. Ball behind for a corner to City out on the right hand side this time. Kyle Walker in possession now. Walker finds Grealish. He's about 30 yards out here, Grealish. He goes back to Rodri again, slowly being forced back here, Manchester City. Walker finds a nice little pass through the eye of a needle to get City further up the pitch. Grealish plays the ball forward, and it's knocked around the corner for Kovacic. Nathan Ake with the first time cross towards the back post where two players compete for it. One of them was Matheus Nunes, and it looks like the last touch came off Nunes. That's going to be a goal kick to Urawa Reds. That ball definitely struck the arm there of Takehiro Akimoto. Accidental, never a penalty, but I think Manchester City should have had the corner. But I was just mentioning before that half chance for Kovacic that the J-League season recently came to its conclusion. The 5-time J-League winners Urawa, they finished 4th of 18 teams last season, played 34, won 15, drew 12 and lost 7. So they weren't beaten all that often, but all them draws looks like it cost Urawa a couple of league places. They earned their spot here at the Club World Cup by winning the AFC Champions League last season, defeating Saudi Arabia's Al Hilal by 2-1 in a two-legged final. That was their third win in the continental competition. And they're breaking forward here now as Ito plays a ball out to the left, but he left that one too close to Kyle Walker. If you give Walker a sniff, we know how quick he is. He'll turn on the turbo and he'll beat any player to it, and that's what Walker's done there. Walker plays a forward pass. That ball switched now from right to left, where Akanji gathers on the edge of his own penalty area, and he'll step forward now towards the halfway line here, Manuel Akanji. You'd have to say it's been a real bargain buy for Manchester City. City have the cash to go out and pay whatever sort of transfer fee they want for players, really. I'd say Akanji, they didn't pay a whole lot. I think it was about 18 million they paid for Akanji from Borussia Dortmund, and they've picked up a real gem there. But Akanji's team have been dispossessed once more, and the ball's played up towards Jose Cante, and Cante gets there before Akanji, but covering back there was John Stones. Of course, Stones naturally a central defender, but we've seen him playing in that holding role in recent times for Manchester City, but he got right back there into the centre of defence to help out Akanji. Good turn of foot there from John Stones. City on the attack now. Grealish, slightly heavy touch. Grealish skips over his man though. Lovely control from Grealish, but he eventually runs out of real estate. Ball runs behind for a goal kick. Takehiro Sakina, he overcommitted there. He slid in. Grealish saw him coming and just chipped the ball over the Urawa defender, but the ball then got away from Grealish once again, and the ball runs behind for a goal kick as we head into the last minute of normal time in this first half, with the score still 0-0 in this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final. Of course, if it was still to be like this in another 45 minutes time, we would be looking in to the possibility of extra time and penalties if required, as Shisaku Nishikawa sends the ball long. It's headed away by Akanji, cleared away by Alexander Schultz. Lovely touch from John Stones, although he wasn't under any pressure as he took that one down, but he was facing his own goal. He probably didn't know what was around him there. He had to get the touch right, Stones, and he did just that. You can see why Pep Guardiola has used him in midfield at times, Stones. He is so good in control of the football. City are breaking forward now. Núñez plays one right across the 6-yard box, and oh no, it's an own goal. The ball has been turned into the back of the Urawa net by a red jersey. It looks like it potentially might have been Marius Høybråten that's done that, the Danish defender. I'm going to look at the replay in a moment, but it was Matheus Núñez, who hasn't had the best of first halves for Manchester City at times, but he's just stolen a yard or two on his marker. He's got into that penalty area and he's fizzed the ball right across the 6-yard box, and it's been turned into the net, yes, by Marius Høybråten. And Manchester City with a goal right on the stroke of half time to take the lead in this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final. It's Urawa Reds 0, Manchester City 1. The champions of Europe are in front as Pep Guardiola celebrates from the sideline. Núñez, of course, a €62 million arrival from Wolves in September. 15 appearances in all competitions. This is his 16th appearance now. He's still waiting for that first Manchester City goal, but that was just as good as a goal there, as his dangerous cross right across the penalty area was turned into the net by a Urawa defender, and City have the lead as a result. The Japanese side looking to respond now, as a cross into the City penalty area forces Bernardo Silva into a desperate late clearance, and the ball goes behind for a corner to Urawa. I think this is their first corner of the game, if I'm not mistaken. All eyes here now on Alexander Schultz, the central defender, with those 11 goals in all competitions this season. Can he get his head on this one? Going across to take is Ken Uayo. Uayo, who scored a stunning goal of his own in Japan this season. He scored from inside his own half back in July. He takes this corner, but it's a little bit of a flat one, easily defended. Ball breaks the way of Koizumi. Koizumi, will he have enough time to send this one forward? He has had enough time, but he hurried his pass and he gave it away to Jack Grealish, and that could have been a really costly mistake there from Urawa, as Grealish broke forward. He was pulled down to the ground, and some words been exchanged here between Jose Kante and Grealish. But if Grealish had gotten away from his man there was a real chance of a counter-attack on for City. Not a whole lot of contact in that. Looks like Grealish went down quite easily. I think that's what Jose Kante is a little bit upset about here, as he has words with the referee, just asking him to calm down. But that rush pass there from Koizumi, not his best decision in the game, gifted the ball to Grealish, and Grealish was breaking away towards the Urawa half, but he was dragged to the ground. I haven't seen a card produced for that. Referee having a word with Grealish now as well. Kante and Grealish still exchanging words. And what is the 3rd minute now of what was only meant to be one added on. There is the half-time whistle. The referee's going to take this opportunity just to cool things down, draw an end to this first half with late drama in this first half, as an own goal gave Manchester City the lead. It was Høybråten who turned the ball into his own net. The goalkeeper for Urawa, he has been absolutely heroic in this first half, Shisaku Nishikawa, but there was nothing he could do from that sort of range. It was in around the 6-yard box that his defender turned the ball home from after a really dangerous low cross from Matheus Núñez, and that's what separates the two teams at the break. It's a real shame for Urawa, because despite City's dominance in terms of possession, they haven't really had any real clear-cut chances. There's been some shots from range that the keeper's dealt with really well, but they haven't really been opened up properly as of yet by Manchester City. You probably haven't been at their brilliant best yet in this first half. They've just taken a while to come to the boil in this occasion, but Manchester City do have the lead, and you'd have to think now it's a real uphill battle for Urawa Red Diamonds going into the second half. But football is a funny old game. You just never know. Look what happened to Manchester City at the weekend against Crystal Palace. So don't go anywhere. Go and make yourself a half-time brew, but make sure you come back here in about 15 minutes' time as we continue to bring you audio commentary of this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final here on Flash Score. It's half-time in Saudi Arabia, with a half-time score reads Urawa Red Diamonds 0, Manchester City 1. Join myself, Kieran Burke, back here for second half commentary very soon. audio commentary from this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final between the Urawa Reds of Japan and Manchester City, the Champions League winners of last season. And there was almost an early chance there for the team that trailed 1-0 at the break. Urawa there, the loose header back, almost breaking the way of Jose Cante. But if you did miss the first half, an own goal right on the stroke of half-time from defender Marius Høybråten gave Manchester City the lead. And again, City a little bit sloppy at the back. City fans won't like to hear that because, of course, they have recent memories from the weekend of letting a half-time lead slip against Crystal Palace. City fans will want to see a much more controlled second half performance here than they saw at the Etihad on Sunday. But again, Jose Cante proving to be a real thorn in the City side so far in this game. They've had very few opportunities, Urawa, but when the ball has gone up there, Cante has looked a threat. He was their star man in their semi-final win against Club León a few days ago. He set up the winner in that game, and he looks like the most likely option, the most likely route back into this game for the Japanese side. But they don't want to go 2-0 behind early in the second half, and they might do here if Bernardo Silva can have his say on things. But they've done well to force Silva all the way back towards Ake. Ake moves the ball down the left flank to Jack Grealish. Grealish forced back towards Rodri. Rodri plays square to John Stones. Stones, the ball just wouldn't sit for him, so he has to go back to Rodri. Rodri out to the right to Kyle Walker. Walker moves it on now to Bernardo Silva, who's on the edge of the penalty area out on the right hand side. Bernardo tries to thread a pass inside, it's blocked, and Urawa can clear their lines now. Jose Cante tries a little flick around the corner, but he should know better than that. That's Kyle Walker far too quick to be caught out with a little flick around the corner like that. Walker easily gathers, and City can start an attack now from just inside the opposition half, as Walker looks to switch it from right to left. A really good diagonal pass out to Grealish, who traps it first time. Grealish goes on the outside of his man, but he overhits it, Grealish, and runs behind for a goal kick. Credit to Takahiro Sakina. He's kept as tight as possible to grab Jack Grealish throughout the game so far. There was only one moment in that first half where Grealish managed to beat his marker down the outside and get across into the penalty area. Otherwise, you have to say Sakina's done well to force Grealish sideways a lot of the time. Kovacic has won it back for City. He finds Phil Foden. Foden inside to Bernardo Silva. His touch just takes him away from goal a little bit, and then he tries to bend his left foot around the ball and curl it into that bottom corner. But he got his angles all wrong there, Bernardo. Ball out behind for a goal kick. Plenty of Manchester City subs going through. A fairly intensive warm-up, including Julian Alvarez. No surprise if we see the Argentinian World Cup winner come on. City playing without a recognised number 9 in the game so far. The likes of Foden, Grealish and Bernardo Silva, they've all taken their turn as the false 9 throughout the game. It's Phil Foden occupying that position at the moment. But perhaps Pep Guardiola might think it's time to get a more traditional striker out there. No Erling Haaland, of course, he's currently out injured, so Alvarez the most likely one to come on and occupy that number 9 role if Guardiola does decide to make a change. Foden dropping deep this time. He's got the freedom to do that as the false 9, of course. He finds Jack Grealish out wide again. Once again, Grealish forced away from the Urawa goal. Sakina's done really well in that man marking job on Jack Grealish so far. Here's Núñez, the man that brought about that opening goal with his low cross into the area, been turned into the back of the net by Høybråten, but Núñez has given it away. Jose Cante fighting to keep a hold of it, but he's dispossessed by Phil Foden. Kovacic looking for yet another FIFA Club World Cup title. He's won it 4 times, Kovacic, and as things stand, he's set for another final appearance on Friday with Manchester City if they can hold on and maybe even build on this lead. They're trying to do that now as the ball is fed out to Bernardo Silva on the right hand side. Silva forced back to John Stones. Stones plays it square out towards Nathan Ake. Ake out to Jack Grealish again. Sakina goes out to Grealish. Grealish too strong for him though. He holds off the fullback and he manages to find a pass to a Manchester City teammate. City have moved it from Grealish's side on the left out to Bernardo now on the right. Bernardo with a ball down the line to Nunes. Nunes tries a cross, but straight into the gloves of Shisaki Nishikawa. And plenty of plaudits during the half-time break for his performance in that first half. Plenty of saves from range, although I think most of them you would have expected him to make, but when he's been called into action, he's done everything you'd want from your goalkeeper. He's kept it fairly plain and simple. One thing he could scrub up on though in this second half is his distribution. That's another fairly poor ball forward, and it's allowed City now to get the ball down and start playing again inside the Urawa half. Rodri playing a 1-2 with Kovacic. Rodri trying to thread one into the penalty area for Bernardo Silva. I think Phil Foden, maybe it might have been for Foden as well, and I think the two players failed to communicate there, and they both seem to leave it, and it runs behind. But it was a good piece of vision there from Rodri. I think Foden was probably the better option. He did go for Bernardo Silva, just looking at the replay there, but Foden had just peeled away from his man and made a run inside towards goal, whereas Bernardo was that little bit wider. With the right idea there, Rodri, but he picked the wrong option in the end. Ball back with Ederson now. The Brazilian finds John Stones. Stones has Kyle Walker on the overlap. Walker gathers. Walker gathering pace and plays a lovely ball forward, and this is a big chance for Kovacic. He's in one-on-one, and Kovacic smashes it past the goalkeeper and into the back of the net. Manchester City 2 to the good. What a wonderful piece of play from Kyle Walker, the Manchester City captain. Received the ball, he drove forward for a couple of yards, and then he unleashes an absolutely incredible pass on the outside of the foot up to Kovacic, who broke away from his man, picked his head up, picked his spot, which was right down the middle, and he just smashes the ball home. This is a brilliant goal from City. You think of City and all of the goals they score where there's 20 and 30 passes involved. This is just a ball from the fullback down the centre of the pitch. Kovacic makes the run from deep. He takes 2 or 3 touches to steady himself. He opens up the right foot, uses the inside of his boot to lift it over the goalkeeper. It's right down the centre. Couldn't be more pinpoint accurate there, Kovacic, down the middle of the goal. Goalkeeper committed, thinking the City midfielder would go for a low finish, but he's lifted it over the goalkeeper. He smashed it down the middle, and just like that, 52 minutes on the clock, Manchester City lead by 2-0. City won't need reminding. 2-0. The most dangerous scoreline in football, they say, and that cliche still proving to be true after what we saw at the weekend against Crystal Palace. So you know they've still got plenty of work to do here, but they've got a good platform to build off now, with goals right at the end of the first half and early in the second. And City are coming forward again now with Jack Grealish on the left hand side. Grealish dribbling into the penalty area again, though he's forced back by a combination of Okubu and Sakina. And there's going to be a free kick to Urawa here. It looks like a late offside call, perhaps against Jack Grealish. Yeah, it looks like Grealish has just gone beyond the last defender there when he received that ball out wide. Not like Grealish to be caught offside when he's looking across the line like that. We'll give him that one. Urawa now looking to get the ball out wide themselves into an attacking area, and that's a good pass out towards Akimoto, but Akimoto, he was just on the stretch as he controlled that one. That allowed a City defender to come in and dispossess him. Bernardo Silva now playing a ball down the line to Nunes, who's pulled to the ground. That's surely going to be a booking here for Kito Yasui. He's got 2 arms around Nunes there. Bit of a rugby tackle on the City player, but only a free kick. Surprised by that one. Referee a little bit lenient there, as City go direct with this free kick. Not often you see them do that, but this is a good accurate forward ball to Grealish, who traps it on the edge of the penalty area on the left hand side of the 18-yard box. He rolls the ball back to Nathan Aki. If you looked at Aki's heat map, you'd definitely think he was playing central midfield or even slightly further advanced, because he's been on the edge of that Reds penalty area time after time. He hasn't had to stay on the edge of his own box too often, Nathan Ake. Similar comments apply to Akanji, but Ake has been really far advanced in the game. As Rodri plays a pass to the Manchester City goal scorer Kovacic. Watch the opening goal and own goals. Kovacic, the first citizen to score a FIFA Club World Cup goal. The man with the rich pedigree in this competition, 4-time Club World Cup winner, gets City's first ever goal in the competition. First ever goal scored by a City player, that is. Pep Guardiola liking what he's seeing now from his players. He's got his hands over his head, applauding his players here as they move the ball around nicely, just trying to assert control and make sure there's no route back into this game for the team from Japan, like there was for Crystal Palace at the weekend. Grealish goes on the outside of his man, he beats his man this time. Grealish stands up across towards the back post, and he should have scored. Núñez, somehow he's missed from no more than 6 yards out. Brilliant play from Grealish. Puts the afterburners on, skips by his man, and it stood up beautifully for Núñez, and he's just approached it all wrong. He's caught it coming down, he's headed the ball into the turf and wide there, Matheus Núñez. That should have been a goal. Urawa going to respond with their first change of the night now. Atsuki Ito is going to be replaced here. Also coming off will be Okubu, and coming on will be Ogawara and Schalk, 26 and 7, coming on here for Urawa Reds. Schalk, the man that got the winner off the bench in their semi-final success just a few days ago against Club León, and how they need a goal from Schalk now. 31-year-old Dutch attacker. And British-based listeners of this commentary might remember the name Alex Schalk for other reasons. He's a former Ross County striker who scored a 90th minute winner in the 2016 League Cup final against Hibs, so he's very much fondly remembered in Scotland. Of course, we had the Scottish League Cup final this past weekend. Rangers with a narrow victory against Aberdeen, but it was Ross County's turn to lift that trophy in 2016, with Alex Schalk the hero on that day against the club from Edinburgh Hibs. He had a brilliant goal record in Scotland in the Premiership as well, even though they were relegated the year he got 11 or 12 Premiership goals. But he knows where the back of the net is, Schalk, and how he'd love one here against the champions of Europe. He's played in big games before, sold out finals at Hampden Park, but this is obviously a big step up in quality. No disrespect to Hibs and Ross County, but Manchester City are just a cut above the rest at the moment, not only in Europe, but it looks like they could be crowned kings of the world just yet. They're one step closer to that final on Friday against Fluminense of Brazil. That will be live on Flash Score here as well, so make sure you join us for that on Friday. Kante trying a little back heel there to start an attack for Urawa, but he's actually ended up flicking the ball against his own standing leg and out for a throw-in. It does look like Urawa are perhaps running out of steam. No surprise to see the manager making those substitutions just to try and inject some freshness and some life back into this team, but they had to get through so many miles of defending in that first half that you just wonder how much is left in the tank now offensively when they do actually get in possession. They're going to have to be that bit more adventurous now, but they know by doing that exactly the sort of threats and opportunities that will open up for Manchester City as well. So they're in a very perilous position, and City looking to make this hill a mountain now as they go for a third, and that was an excellent shot from Núñez, which was saved. Bernardo Silva on the rebound, and there is goal number 3 for Manchester City. No luck for the goalkeeper Nishikawa. He made the first save from Núñez, but the rebound falls the way of Bernardo Silva, and not an easy finish. He's taken it first time off the left foot, and he just picks out that bottom right hand corner, and it creeps its way in, and that is surely the goal that seals Manchester City's passage through to the FIFA Club World Cup final on Friday. Powerful shot from Núñez. Keeper thought he had done enough. He gets his gloves behind it, but the rebound falls the way of Bernardo Silva, and it's actually taken a deflection on the way in. I thought at the time it didn't look the cleanest of strikes from Bernardo Silva, and it wasn't. It's come off the back of that man again, Marius Høybråten, the man that scored the own goal to put City in front. I'm afraid that ball is deflected off the man from Oslo, and it's now 3-0 to Manchester City. It will go down as a Bernardo Silva own goal as far as I can see. It looked like his shot was on target, but Bratton won't be feeling any better about himself having scored an own goal, and it's his deflection that carries that ball past Nishikawa to make it Manchester City 3-0 up on the scoreboard. Macieja Skorża, the manager, it looks like this will be his last game in charge of Urawa, and I'm afraid it's not going to end on a happy note for him, as Jack Grealish looks to rub salt into the wounds now as he breaks forward looking for a fourth. Grealish forced back, but Bernardo Silva has it. Now John Stones, Phil Foden. City starting to enjoy themselves out there now. Foden on the turn, starting to drive towards the penalty area, puts the brakes on and goes back to Nunez, who again played a role in that third goal. It was his cross that led to that own goal in the first half. It's his shot which was parried away by the goalkeeper, which leads to Bernardo Silva's goal. So Nunez has done his part out there. Bernardo Silva, he has it now on the right hand side. Plays a 1-2 with Nunez, starting to look more confident now in that Manchester City shirt after a rocky start to the game. He's coming short all the time now, Nunez. He wants to enjoy every single touch that he possibly can, and he gets a pass now from John Stones, and Nunez moves it nicely inside to Phil Foden. Rodri across the pitch to Nathan Aki. Aki inside to Rodri. Rodri receives and turns, finds John Stones. Stones to Kyle Walker. What an assist that was from Walker for the second goal, by the way. Urawa here are just chasing shadows now. They can't get near this Manchester City team. They have moved into top gear, as I suggested at half time. I don't think it was the most polished of first half displays from Manchester City, but they have very quickly moved through the gears in this second half, and we've still got about 28 minutes of normal time remaining in this second period. And Manchester City, they have the Reds at their mercy here. They could rack up a bit of a cricket score if they want, Manchester City, by the looks of things. Pep Guardiola might make some changes soon, you feel. And that's a defensive error which might allow a chance for Jack Grealish. Ball threaded inside for Foden. Lays it back to Grealish. This is wonderful football from City. Grealish tries to go around the goalkeeper. He still has it, Grealish, but he's eventually tackled by Bratton. Bratton will feel a little bit better about himself now after that own goal and the deflection leading to the third. He's just saved Urawa from conceding a fourth goal there, as Grealish just took on one man too many. But the little 1-2 between himself and Phil Foden was absolutely wonderful to watch. And I see the assistant's flag go up over on the far side, so I think we might be about to see some changes. I'm just wondering if that is perhaps Jack Grealish's last involvement. Grealish could have gone down and probably would have had a penalty, actually. I'm just looking back at a replay. He goes round the goalkeeper, and the goalkeeper seems to make contact with the back of Jack Grealish, but Grealish was focused on trying to get that ball in the back of the net, and he kept ploughing forward and eventually ran into a tackle. It's actually going to be another change for Urawa. Kante goes off, and they're also bringing on a couple of other players here as well. So Kante goes off there for Urawa. I'll confirm who came on there in a second. Bernardo Silva, fresh off scoring that third goal, he's going to be replaced by the youngster Oscar Bob. Recently scored his first senior goal for City in the Champions League against Red Star. And Phil Foden, he's lit up this game once again today, Foden, as he so often does. He's going to be replaced here as well. Alvarez and Guardiola are about to come on for the Champions League winners of last season. Guardiola dropping out of the City starting 11 after that game against Palace at the weekend, but he comes on as a sub here. Guardiola with an arm round the shoulder of Foden as he comes off. I think Pep enjoyed watching Phil Foden just as much as I did today. He's been absolutely wonderful once again. Brian Linson has also come on for Urawa. It was Linson that replaced Kante. Linson, another Dutch player in this team. He joins his fellow countryman, who I mentioned earlier, that is currently on the pitch, Alex Schalk. There's Nathan Aki, a Dutch international, so I'm sure they'll enjoy going up against Ake here, but it's not an easy task for Urawa just to get on the scoreboard here against this relentless Manchester City team. Brian Linson, 7 goals in all comps this season. He joined from Feyenoord in July of last year. And it's up to him now and his fellow countryman Alex Schalk to try and give the Urawa supporters something to cheer here. And they might get a chance to cheer something here, because Kyle Walker has played a very careless back pass, but Manchester City bailed out of trouble by Julian Alvarez, or by John Stones. I was going to say, what's Alvarez doing back there? Stones gets back. It was a dreadful back pass from Kyle Walker. We saw him set up City second, but he almost set up a potential route back into the game for Urawa. But Linson just wasn't quick enough to capitalise on that. And that's a real let-off for Manchester City. Credit to the Urawa supporters behind that goal. They haven't stopped from minute 1. They're still jumping up and down and singing their songs. They're on the big stage and they're going to enjoy every second of it here against Manchester City. But they really should have been treated to a goal there after that mistake from Kyle Walker. Not the first time in the game we've seen a City defender take liberties with a back pass like that. Early on in the game, you might remember John Stones with a bit of a risky one, and Ederson had to bail him out, but this time it was Stones that bailed Walker out with some trouble. They do have a corner though. Let's see what they can do with this. Going to be taken over on the right hand side. It's whipped straight into the hands of Ederson, I'm afraid. Poor corner there from Ken Uayo. Ederson rolls the ball out short to Kyle Walker. Walker goes forward this time instead of going back towards Ederson. City swiftly on the attack as a result. Nunez inside to Alvarez, his first touch. Here's Oscar Bob, a 20-year-old from Oslo. Recently broke into the senior Norwegian ranks, scoring his first international goal in a friendly win against the Faroe Islands. He was a top performer in Premier League 2 last season for Manchester City. As a result, he's earned his slot now in the first team, scoring that Champions League goal recently against Red Star. Not a bad way to score your first senior goal, is it, to score in the Champions League? Can he add a goal in the FIFA Club World Cup to his CV now? He's got about 23 minutes to try and do so. City again just move the ball left to right, back to front. Oscar Bob goes on the outside of his man. He's taken to the ground, and that will be a free kick to Manchester City. That foul committed by the substitute Takuya Ogawara, capped at underage level by Japan. Came on as a sub in the semi-final victory. Another sub appearance here in the quarter-final victory. He can play on either flank, drop into full-back when required as well. He's quite a versatile player. City take the free kick. Walker in possession on halfway. Walker sweeps the ball out to the right. Wonderful pass to Oscar Bob. Bob tried to chip the ball over the top towards Julian Alvarez. Just too much on it from Bob. Again, Kyle Walker, brilliant turn of pace to track back and win the ball off Nakajima, the substitute. Japanese international, 19 caps for Japan, although not capped since 2019. And that has played all over the globe. He's been in Qatar, he's played with Porto in Portugal. He most recently was with Antalyaspor in Turkey. He won the league over in Portugal with Porto in the 1920 season. And this isn't actually his first encounter with Manchester City. He was an unused sub for Porto as the Portuguese side held Manchester City to a scoreless draw in a Champions League group game back in 2020. But this time he does see action here. Shoya Nakajima. It's his team that again have some defending to do, and a loose clearance falls the way of Oscar Bob, and Bob off the left foot trying to drive that one into the bottom right hand corner, trying to give the keeper the eyes, and he almost caught out the Reds goalkeeper, but this one flashes wide. I think if he had that chance again, Oscar Bob, he'd probably open up his left foot and try and curl that one towards the opposite end of the goal, but that was his first sighter since coming on as a substitute, the 20-year-old. Almost made the most of it. Well, the Reds are into the Manchester City half. We haven't said that too much in this second half, but That's a loose ball forward from Linson, straight into the gloves of Ederson. And when you give the ball away to City, you know what's coming next. A swift counter-attack. As Oscar Bob has the ball now high up in Urawa territory. Goes back towards John Stones. But they're well over the halfway line here, City. Right down the centre of the park is Julian Alvarez. Alvarez out wide to Bob. Alvarez makes a forward run, but Bob retains possession by going back to John Stones. He goes inside to Rodri. He's just made everything tick this evening. Just knows how to keep that ball moving when required. He hasn't had too much defensive work to get through, Rodri. People forget just how good he is on the ball. Definitely, for me, the best defensive midfielder on the planet right now. A real specialist position, and he knows the role of it inside and out. He knows it to a T, Rodri. John Stones, a man who's becoming quite accustomed to that role himself. He has possession now, and he finds Nunez. Oscar Bob back to Kyle Walker. Walker back to Nathan Ake on halfway. Ake with a nice forward pass to Kovacic. He's got support on the outside, Kovacic. It's Jack Grealish. Grealish receives. He finds Rodri. Rodri with a slightly loose touch, but he does well to recover it. Shifts it out to Nunez. Nunez with a pass to Oscar Bob. Bob with a lovely turn inside the penalty area and a low cross into the 6-yard box, which is cleared away and out for a corner. Actually, it's gone out for a throw-in, excuse me. Throw into City, and they work it quite nicely. As Nunez opens up a couple of yards for himself. He goes back to Ake. Plays a 1-2 with Rodri. It's now with the substitute Guardiola, the Croatian. Kovacic trying to play that one up towards Alvarez. Misplaced pass, but City win it back. It's Rodri that wins it back. Just when I said he hasn't had too much defensive work to do today, he makes a crucial tackle and wins it back, and Alvarez drives forward and gets a shot in on goal. Just lost his balance as he hit it. Didn't get a hold of the shot, Julian Alvarez, and it's easily gathered by the goalkeeper, who immediately drops the ball at his feet and begins the passage of play from the back. City, despite being 3-0 up though, pressing after this ball and trying to win it back, but they've overstepped the mark, and that's a foul on Ogawara. Free kick to the Reds. Again, they try and play out from the back. It's back with the goalkeeper, Nishikawa. He goes long this time. Ball is flicked on. Can they make something of this Urawa Reds? It's not proving easy. Unfortunately, they don't hold on to the possession for too long. Kyle Walker looks like he's just been trod on there. Walker's gone down in a bit of pain. Referee spotted that. I think he's awarded the free kick. Yeah, just coming together between the substitute there, Takuya Ogawara, and Kyle Walker. He's just trotted on the big toe of Kyle Walker. He'll be alright. Free kick to City. We tick towards the last quarter of this game now. Manchester City in total control, leading by 3-0. If you missed any of the action, they took the lead right on the stroke of half time when Marius Høybråten turned the ball into his own net after a powerful low cross from Matheus Nunes. City got their second early in the second half, and then icing on the cake when Bernardo Silva's shot was deflected in to make it 3. Jack Grealish looking to make it 4 now as he traps the ball on the edge of the penalty area on the left hand side. Again though, he's forced back by Akimoto. Guardiola receives. Guardiola can play it left back or centre back. Comfortable in possession. Finds Oscar Bob out on the right. Bob inside to Nunez. Nunez thinks about his next move. He gives it back to where he got it from. That was Oscar Bob. City, slow and patient build-up play this time as Ake sweeps the ball out to the left to Jack Grealish. Grealish going to have a run here at Sakina. Inside to Kovacic. Kovacic with the shot, and he fires over. It was Kovacic that got City second, but he won't add to his tally just yet. Yeah, I mentioned earlier about 1,000 Manchester City fans have travelled from the UK, and they're enjoying themselves over in Saudi Arabia, watching their team winning this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final. 25 years to the day Manchester City lost in the English Football League away from home by 2-1 against York City. And look where Manchester City are now, potentially just over 90 minutes away from being crowned as the best team in the world officially, by being crowned world champions. It will be Fluminense, the Brazilians, that stand in their way in Friday's final, which will be live for you here again on Flash Score. Make sure you join us for that. Guardiola intercepts it for Manchester City. Guardiola, still Guardiola. Oh, Guardiola, he was very unselfish. He tried to pass the ball inside to Alvarez. He could have taken the shot on himself. Loose ball breaks back to Grealish. Grealish, though, is forced outside of the penalty area and all the way back towards halfway. But Guardiola, he should have taken the shot on. He just kept going and going and going, Guardiola, and it looked like the outcome of that would be a shot on goal. Instead, he tried to slip a pass right onto the penalty spot for Alvarez, but he just left it behind Alvarez and the chance was gone. But another chance might open up now on the other side of the pitch, down the right for Oscar Bob. He plays it inside to Rodri. Rodri, ball over the top towards Bob. Bob at an acute angle, so he tries to cut it back and he cuts it back to Alvarez. Good save. Ball still alive here with Nunez on the edge of the area. Good save again from Nishikawa to deny Alvarez. It looks like a late offside flag has gone up, probably against Oscar Bob, because Alvarez has ran onto a cut back there from Bob, so there's no way he's offside. I'm looking at the replay. Bob doesn't look offside to me, but all the same, brilliant save from the goalkeeper. Point blank range. Julian Alvarez denied by Shisaku Nishikawa, who's one of his admirers this afternoon. Calvin Phillips hasn't played a huge amount of football since he signed for Manchester City, but he's going to get a run here. He comes on for Rodri. And John Stones applauds the supporters as he's replaced by Sergio Gomez, 23-year-old Spaniard. Completed just his second full 90 minutes of the season in that recent Champions League win out in Serbia against Red Star. He's going to get another 15 minutes under his belt here. Well, of course, Calvin Phillips scored in that game against Red Star from the penalty spot. That was his first Manchester City goal, despite it being his 30th appearance for the club. It hasn't been the most straightforward of transitions for Phillips since his move from Leeds United. He was an unused sub in that game against Crystal Palace at the weekend. He's only played 89 minutes of Premier League football this season across 4 appearances, but he got the taste for goal recently in that Champions League game, and perhaps he'd fancy his chances here against Urawa team, who look out on their feet, you'd have to say, and they're going to make another sub as a result of that. Ken Uayo is going to be replaced here by Shibato. Kai Shibato, the 28-year-old defensive midfielder. He's been a bit of a bit part player this season for the Reds, but he is going to get a chance to show what he can do against Europe's very best, Manchester City. 78 minutes on the clock now. City leading by 3-0 in this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final. Kyle Walker now receives the ball from Ederson. Nunez trying to turn. He's ran into a bit of trouble here, Nunez, but he's just so strong. He pushes the 2 Urawa players to one side, and the ball breaks out for a throw into City, but it's actually going to be a free kick. There was a foul committed there on Matheus Nunez, but he's just so strong. He's got massive upper body strength, and we just saw that there as he held off the 2 advancing Reds players. City take a short free kick, begin to play the ball across their back 4. Walker back to the goalkeeper Ederson, dropping into the penalty area is Calvin Phillips to receive. Phillips with a pass to Nunez. That's back with Kyle Walker again. City starting to gradually build up the pitch once more. Walker dinks left, drops the shoulder right, cuts inside. Great dribbling from Kyle Walker. He's not even going top speed, but even at 50% he looks like he's going 100 miles an hour. Grealish threads one behind for Kovacic. Kovacic just got stuck under his feet, and that allowed Alexander Schlotz to get back and make a very important tackle. Schlotz trying to build it from the back now. He's played a nice little 1-2 with a teammate. He's found a good pass forward as well. And Alexander Schlotz continues on this run forward, this adventure forward. This is a good attack here from the Reds. Can they get some sort of effort in on goal? Big chance. Oh, but a loose touch. Ederson comes flying out, makes a big tackle and a big save chance gets away there from the substitute Nakajima. He just took a slightly heavy touch. That allowed Ederson just that split second to get off the line. He threw his legs at it. It's a big tackle. Any centre-back can be proud of that tackle. Now Ederson has just made. Doesn't matter what part of your body you use as a goalkeeper to keep it out. Once you keep it out of that net, that's all that matters, and Ederson's displayed that brilliantly there. The Reds come again with another attack. They're into the City penalty area, but outnumbered there was Ogawara by 2-1, and Oscar Bob takes it off the Red substitute. Alvarez holds the ball up well for City on the halfway line, and he's fouled Alvarez. That'll be a free kick. There was a bit of fortune about how that chance presented itself to Nakajima. A deflected ball ran into his path, and he just took the slightest of heavy touches, and he tried to go round Ederson. Ederson then just sticks out his left leg and makes a brilliant tackle to deny the Reds the chance of a consolation goal. I don't think it would be anything more than that at this stage, but their supporters would love to see a goal behind that goal being occupied by Ederson, and they deserve it as well, the fans, for the colour and atmosphere they've brought to Saudi Arabia today. They're still jumping up and down. They haven't stopped since minute 1. Their team are on the attack again. Ogawara, he finds Bratton, pass inside to Ogawara. Linson can't get onto it. Schultz can. Schultz moves the ball out to the right hand side. Schultz staying up here for Urawa. If they lose this ball, they might be a bit exposed at the back. They've got 3 or 4 players in the penalty area. Alexander Schultz, who's taken up a position out on the wide right, almost like an attacking midfielder. He tried to play a cross inside. It was blocked behind for a throw-in, but he's going to stay up there. I think he feels there's nothing to lose now at this stage. They might as well lose 4 or 5 and try and go after a goal here. Into the last 10 minutes in this game in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. The Urawa Red Diamonds, the AFC Champions League winners the last season, trailing the UEFA Champions League winners Manchester City by 3-0. Ogawara, he's looked lively since he's come off the bench, and he's just drawn a foul there from, I think it was Mateus Nunes. It's going to be a free kick, and it was Nunes, and he picks up a yellow card for that foul on Ogawara as well. They've sent about 7 players up for this free kick here, Urawa. It's going to be taken by Takuya Ogawara, who won the free kick. We've got plenty of red jerseys to try and pick out here. City operating with a high defensive line. Ball does run through to the far corner flag, where it's kept in play by the Reds. There's a cross from Schultz, but it's headed away. And Manchester City a big chance for a counter-attack here. Losing his footing was Jack Grealish, but Grealish was fouled. And the player that committed that foul will be lucky if he doesn't pick up a yellow card, given it looked like a real, genuine counter-attack developing there. It was Kai Shibato, the substitute, that made the foul, but looks like he's got away with the booking. Without a booking. Throwing everything at this now. Credit to them. Urawa Red Diamonds, they're trying their best just to get something here to give their supporters to shout about. They're committing players forward, but that will leave Manchester City with oceans of space to pick out on the counter-attack. City on the attack now with a pass forward from Grealish, collected by Kovacic. He gives it back to the Englishman. Grealish tries to thread one forward for Alvarez, who was on the move inside the penalty area, but it's blocked away. The youngster now, Sergio Gomez, has it. He finds Alvarez. Alvarez back to Gomez. Gomez gets by his man, gives it back to Alvarez. Alvarez slightly heavy touch, and Nishikawa showing Ederson, whatever you can do, I can do too. He comes out and he gets down low at the feet of Alvarez. He throws a glove at it, and he does, to bring you audio commentary of this FIFA Club World Cup semi-final here on Flash Score. It's half-time in Saudi Arabia, with a half-time score reads Urawa Red Diamonds. But Nishikawa rises from the turf and celebrates as if he's scored a goal himself. He really enjoyed that one, and why not? He's just denied one of the stars of last year's FIFA World Cup from scoring a goal here. Despite the fact he's been capped 31 times for his country, Japan. I'm sure this is a memory that will live on for many years for Nishikawa and many of these Reds players as well. Tell you what, he might have impressed a few onlookers today from some of the European leagues and elsewhere, because his record this season for Urawa, very impressive. 15 clean sheets in 34 J-League matches. He was only beaten 27 times, but at 37 years of age, I think the days of big transfers might be just behind Nishikawa. Who knows where we might see him next. He certainly played his part in this game today with some really good goalkeeping to deny City further opportunities of extending this 3-0 lead. As we head into the last 5 minutes now of normal time, Manchester City in cruise control and on their way to the FIFA Club World Cup final in their first ever appearance in this competition. The treble winners of last season, and they're about to add further silverware to that Etihad trophy cabinet. Here's Guardiola, a new addition at Manchester City this season, quickly learning what it's all about, winning football matches, winning them in style as well. Oscar Bob, one of the fresh faces in this team, plays across inside. Guardiola takes it down on the chest, and Kovacic with the first time volley, but he didn't get a hold of it. Kovacic, he easily could have had more than just the one he scored today. The veteran Croatian midfielder, 4-time Champions League winner, which brought about 4 wins in this competition, of course. Urawa have given it away from the goal kick. Alvarez has it. He finds Nunez. Calvin Phillips. Urawa forcing City back, trying to make amends for that mistake. City not giving up the ball easily as they go looking for this 4th goal, just to put the icing on the cake. Grealish cuts onto his right foot. No opportunity to shoot though. Finds Kovacic. Nice little shift of the ball from Kovacic just to get it away from a couple of defenders. Calvin Phillips takes the shot on from about 35 yards out. And that was a bit of a speculative effort there from the ex-Leeds man. And it flashes wide in the end. Despite that turnover of possession on the previous goal kick, Urawa not to be deterred. They're going to try and play from the back again, and they almost landed themselves in trouble once more. That ball back to the goalkeeper was a little bit on the short side. Keeper forced into a hurried clearance, and as a result City have possession in the opposition half. Nathan Ake on halfway goes out to the right to Kyle Walker. Walker inside to Phillips. Phillips eager to make his mark, and he tries to turn and get City driving towards goal, but he turned into traffic and gave the ball away. But as we've so often seen in this game, as soon as City lose it, they win it back. 23 attempts at goal from City in this game, 9 on target, 3 in the back of the net. No shots on target from the Reds. Urawa just 1 shot on goal in the entire match. This has been a dominant display from Manchester City. They've certainly been outclassed, Urawa Reds, but they haven't been outfought. They have ran their socks off, and they're going to go out here wearing their heart on their sleeve. Supporters can be proud of their efforts today, and of course over the last year, winning the AFC Champions League to get to this Club World Cup stage. They've won another game at this competition to enhance their record, but they're going to go out at the semi-final stages this year, I'm afraid. No Japanese team has ever won this competition, and the wait goes on. Urawa will be in the 3rd, 4th playoff though. They finished 3rd in this competition before. They'll have another chance to perhaps pick up a bronze medal. There'll be no shame in that at all. It's going to take a good one to stop Manchester City in this competition. Fluminense, will they be the team to stop Manchester City from claiming this Club World Cup crown in Friday's final? City still on the attack as we go into the dying embers of this game, and Alexander Schultz gets across to again snuff out the danger, deny Julian Alvarez a potential substitute's goal. It will be a corner to Manchester City as we await the added on time to go up on the board. City swing the corner out to the edge of the box, and taking on a long range effort with Sergio Gomez. The Spaniard, just with too much on that shot, flies over the bar. So that's attempt number 30 now on the Urawa goal. And there will be 3 additional minutes added on at the end of this game. As Shisaki Nishikawa goes long with this goal kick. Beaten in the air though is the substitute Linson by Guardiola. Grealish looks like he's straight offside here. Flag stays down though, so City continue on the attack for the moment. Grealish, nice pass to Nunez on the edge of the box. Nunez shifts the ball onto his right, a little backheel then towards Oscar Bob, but Oscar Bob is beaten to the ball there by Shibato. Urawa, instead of clearing their lines again, to their credit they do try and play out, but they've been caught in possession once more. Calvin Phillips with the pass inside to Sergio Gomez. Gomez does well to hold off a couple of Reds players. He wins a free kick there, Gomez, which is quickly taken. Calvin Phillips with a diagonal pass out towards Grealish, not just enough on that pass. But Grealish is fouled as the 2 players battle in the air for the ball, and it'll be a free kick to City. We go into the second minute of 3 added on at the end of this half. Guardiola dispossessed. Linson, he hasn't got much support. Finally has a player forthcoming now on the outside. This is Nakajima. He's got it inside the City penalty area. He takes on a shot from a very acute angle. He does win his team a corner. But not much more than that, I'm afraid. The Red supporters behind that goal, they're trying to suck the ball into the net here off this corner. They've certainly made their mark on this competition. And how they'd love to celebrate a goal here against Manchester City. They might have just one last chance in this game. It's going to be a corner. They have sent plenty of players forward for this. It's almost everyone bar the goalkeeper, really. It's not a bad delivery either. Nathan Aki though heads it away from inside his own 6-yard box. Manchester City quickly squeeze up the pitch on Urawa. Everyone in the City half bar the Reds goalkeeper. As that ball is sent long again, will it produce another corner? I'm afraid not. The assistant referee signals for a goal kick. It didn't get a touch off a City defender in the end, that ball forward. And once Ederson plays this ball from the goal kick, you'd have to think that will be the last action of this game. Highly enjoyable contest. I hope you've enjoyed the audio commentary here on Flash Score with myself, Kieran Burke. I'll be back for Friday's final, which will now, as we know, contain Manchester City and the Brazilian side Fluminense. And there is the final whistle. City make a perfect start to life in the Club World Cup, their first ever appearance in this competition, and they win by 3-0, and it could have been a lot more in the end, only for Shisaki Nishikawa, the Urawa Reds goalkeeper. He was inspired on the evening, but even a top-notch performance from the Japanese goalkeeper wasn't enough to stop Manchester City from going on a rampage. By Brighton, that own goal right before half-time, that was the turning point in this game. The Urawa Reds had proved a very stern and stubborn opponent for City to try and break down, but that goal on the stroke at half-time left them with a mountain to climb going into the second half, and that mountain grew even higher when City scored early in the second half through Kovacic, who, don't forget, is looking for his 5th ever Club World Cup title, having won this 3 times as a Real Madrid player and at Chelsea as well. And his goal put City 2-0 in front and virtually booked their ticket into Friday's final. But Bernardo Silva, he got in on the act as well. His deflected effort beat the goalkeeper Nishikawa, and it made it Manchester City 3-0 on the night. There were further opportunities after that for City to stretch their lead, but it would have been a little bit cruel on the Reds if they had lost this by a bigger margin, because they have put in a Trojan shift, but they have been outclassed by the champions of Europe, who could yet be the champions of the world come Friday night. It is Manchester City against